All right, YouTube, my name is KarQ. We're on day 2 of Overwatch Season 1, the brand new season where we got 5 new heroes. And a lot of people have been coming in asking for my opinion on who I think is really good, really strong. So I'm going to focus on this little yap session on today's video about what I think of the heroes, who's the best amongst the 5, who's OP, who's weak, what needs to be changed, and some first impressions. Okay, so Domina. So amongst the 5 heroes, I think she is the second strongest hero, but I do think she's an S tier hero already. S tier. This hero is incredibly powerful. I think she's a stronger Sigma. I think the fact that this is both a beam to bypass matrices like divas, and you can shoot a Genji and then just while he's deflecting with it and then deliberately stop shooting to stop the hit scan or just like look away for a second while he's deflecting. You have so much power with this. The range is pretty reasonable. It's at 25 meters, but you never really need to play anywhere beyond that. This shield is disgusting. 27 segments. Enemies are not really focused on hitting the correct segment anyways. So like for the most part, it's super protective. You really only have 6 seconds of downtime because it's a 14-second cooldown and it lasts 8 seconds. Really strong stuff. CC is good. And I think the biggest takeaway point, the crystal charge. Now, some people may be like, yo, what's going on? Why is this ability the strongest thing? Well, this is a barrier piercing ability. If they play a Winston and you throw it inside the bubble, they have to leave, number 1. It goes through Rhine Shield. And then number 2, I don't think people understand how powerful Crystal Charge is with her passive Reconstruction. She gets shield healing. Now, shield healing means this blue HP gets healed for 75% of the damage dealt. But that's all it says. The big takeaway point is it's damage dealt, not specifically to enemies, but any player entities. So what I'm gonna do is show you a clip right now because I can't really demonstrate it in the practice range. Okay, shield up. Look at my HP.
Pristine construction.
Did you see my HP? Pop it on here. Boom. See that? One more time. Look at my HP. 127, pop it on here. Boom, 500 HP. Now this works on any entity, Maywall, stuff like that. That is why this hero is absolutely ridiculous. There is so much sustain on this hero. If you combo it with like this perk, which is efficient design, where you use your shield, restore 50 shield, activate your passive health regeneration, and then you chuck it onto the other Domina shield, that's why you are healing so much. And it gives you ultimate charge. Healing in this game grants ultimate charge. If you have not been paying attention and you don't know how ultimate charge works, it's damage dealt and healing dealt, usually at a 1-to-1 ratio apart from hitting tanks. It goes twofold. That's why you're able to build the ultimate really fast. So I think this hero is insane, and it's thanks to this crystal charge. Super powerful. And I'm saying it's not 75% of 100 damage on the crystal charge. I was saying the example of the barrier array because each barrier segment is a square. So I was able to put this crystal charge and it hits 4 of the squares. So that's 4 entities. That would be 50 damage over time and then 100 explosion. So 150 times 4 and then 75% of that. It's like 400 HP instantly in the Domina mirror. If you throw it into a clump of enemies in like a Winston bubble, you're hitting the bubble for healing and then you're hitting maybe a target or 2 inside. So her sustain is absolutely insane with this passive. And that's a big part of why she's really good. Another takeaway point is her Panopticon ultimate. Nobody really understands, well, not nobody, but a lot of people have been coming in here and they misunderstand how this ability works, or this ultimate. I actually think it's a pretty balanced one, but right now Domina's more powerful than she needs to be simply because people don't understand it and you're getting knowledge checked and people just don't get it. So what happens is you get wrapped in a 450 HP shield and you must break it to not take detonation damage. The detonation is 300 damage at most if nobody shoots it, proportionally becoming less damage on the explosion if you deal more damage to that 450 HP barrier outside. It is a minimum of 100 damage though if you don't break it. Teammates can shoot it. So if I'm trapped and your teammates aren't, if this teammate isn't, the other teammate can turn around and shoot the barrier off of you to break it. If you break it, you don't take any detonation damage. That is how you counter the ultimate. You can also be a Sombra and EMP it off of your teammate as well. All of this to say, it's a very powerful ultimate because of knowledge, but number 2, it can actually counter stuff. So for example, if the enemy Cassie says high noon, you can actually put the ultimate on him and it'll like wrap him around it. So his next fire on the Deadeye will get blocked. You can shut up a Bastion. You can shut up a Pharah who's rocket barraging. She can accidentally eliminate herself if you wrap it around her at the right time from the splash damage. This is all to say Domina super powerful, crazy burst damage, crazy 1v1 potential, CC on the stun, hit scan shot, amazing barrier, amazing self-sustain, amazing S tier hero. Okay, so that's my take on Domina. I think she's gonna be nerfed. Easiest nerf is honestly just changing this passive to deal 50% of the damage dealt, or even making it only specifically on enemy targets, not enemy entities like shields, barriers, turrets, and stuff like that. Okay, that's probably the easiest way to nerf it, and then you can keep the fantasy of the hero alive, and I think that would be pretty reasonable. Anyways, Domina, S tier. She's not even the strongest hero, which we'll get to in a moment, but I'm gonna go in order. Next, first impressions is Emre. I think this guy's above average, middle of the pack, super fun hero if you love Halo and Destiny. Like this kind of archetype 3-round burst, I'm a big fan. Some people argue that he can't do anything that Soldier can't because Soldier has a kill with the Helix rocket, and this guy is like, you just chip away enemies. The kill is in the grenade mostly, but sometimes it's a little wonky to get used to, but I think his design is perfect. I think they nailed him so well. I don't really think they need to do anything with him. He's an A tier hero, maybe low A tier, probably a 50% win rate. I have no comments on much about this. The only takeaway point is you can probably change the sensitivity of his aim down sight. You don't lose any movement speed, by the way, while you do this. It's full speed. It helps you with the fall off range, so you can hit high targets far away. You can see the fall off begins at 30 meters to 45 versus 25 to 40. Nothing too crazy. There's actually a bit of spread on the hip fire, and it's a little not, I don't think there's any spread on the aim down sight. If you can aim down sight where you can, I think you should, but you do lose a bit of field of view and information. But all in all, I don't really have much to say. I think this hero is great, well-rounded, good burst with the grenades. This thing is actually super great for the self-sustain. My favorite perk is actually heat sink. I don't really like the sticky grenades that much. I like the bouncing grenades to bounce it over like Rhine shields and things like that. The heat sink gives you crazy refund on it, and it gives you crazy sustain and burst up close. The sensitivity, I think somebody on Reddit, I'm not taking credit for this, said if you like the 1-to-1 aim down sight to hip fire sensitivity ratio, if you have a 16:9 monitor, so like a 1920p 1440 4K, and you play on FOV of 103, you're supposed to change your scope sensitivity to 45, or is it 55? I think it's 45 relative aim, and that should be close to the baseline. No, I'm mistaken. Apparently it's 55. I didn't change it. 55, and it should be good if I move my crosshair like this much and I do the same on my scope, it should feel the same now. There you go. You could argue for having it a little bit slower because you are more zoomed in and hitting farther targets, but that's just something to get used to. At the end of the day, it's not going to be that big of a difference. Anyways, Emre, not much to say. I think he's a really cool hero. I think his ultimate is great. Quick tip is that you're supposed to fire 4 light shots into a heavy before the next one comes out. Maybe you can do 3. 1, 2, 3. Three light shots, 3 to 4 light shots into a heavy is probably the best use of your time, because if you just spam the heavy, there's a lot of dead time while you wait for the cooldown of each one. He doesn't feel weak and he doesn't feel oppressive to fight. He actually has not been banned in my games. Domina has been banned, but anyways, let's move on to the other one because I got to get through this. We have Anran as the next hero. Like if I had to rank the heroes, the 5 heroes, I said Domina's number 2, Emre's number 3. I think Anran is number 4. She's not bad, but she's a little bit on the weaker side. Probably like a 48% win rate kind of hero, but I think she has a really high skill ceiling that I think she could actually rise up as time goes on when people get more optimal with her lethality combos. I think her better perk is actually the one where you dash into them and you get a cooldown back for each enemy hit. In Brawl and like really close coordinated dive, if you just do this and hit 2 people, you burn them instantly and you can get the cooldown back, and you can do this almost 3 times into a dancing blaze, and then you fan the flames non-stop. The fan the flames recently did get buffed from 24 to 30, and then when they're burning, you do crit damage of 60. So 48 was pre-patch, 60 now on the burn. She's actually a lot better in terms of lethality. I think that's her weakest part, is like how quick she can burst somebody and continue to do what she needs to do. Overall, I think her kit is really fun though. A lot of outplay potential with this to dodge like a diva bomb and stuff. Unfortunately, it doesn't cleanse anymore. That's the nerfed part. But like if you time it well, you can dodge like a, I think I was playing her into a queen yesterday, and every time she did the axe swing, I was able to just phase out for it every time and just play the matchup really well. She's a really hard hero to master. Only thing I would probably change about her kit is honestly this rush. It feels a little awkward to kind of control and go vertically because there's 2 components to it. When you press it, you get a little vertical boost really quickly, but then it stops going vertical, but you're still traveling, so it feels a little unintuitive. It feels like you want to go further, but then it just stops you after half a second. Some people argue not changing that. I can agree to that. I think it's just a new, unique ability you can definitely get used to. But like my other argument is like, why did we have to opt for something such a strange mechanic to it? Just because you want to make it feel different doesn't mean it needs to be clunky. And there's something about it that just is a little off to me, but maybe I'm incorrect. I don't know. Something about the dash. It just doesn't feel right to me, which is why she's not going to be my kind of hero. And I haven't seen an Anran that feels super annoying and oppressive to play. And it's one of those, like, if there's an Anran that's ever popping off and owning me, I'm like, if they were a good Genji, I felt like they could have done the same. So it didn't feel like it was like a unique like thing. Like if their team was just rolling us based on their comp, it never felt like it was the Anran specifically. It was like if they played Tracer, I would have also been melted at the same skill ceiling. That's my takeaway point. It's because the dash has self inertia. If you press it in neutral, yeah, exactly. It has self inertia. It's not necessarily like forward momentum. So it just a little off. Anyways, overall, my takeaway is that her lethality is probably the weakest part of her kit, but I think people can get better at her as time goes on and figure out how to optimize her a little bit more. And I think she would actually be like a pretty solid choice. I think she's fun though. Like I'm talking about pure competitive strength. Maybe not the greatest, but she is very fun. And because of the outplay potential and skill ceiling, I think she's in a pretty good spot all in all. I don't think she needs to be like a crazy OP 55% win rate. And I think people over time will figure out how good she is overall. Now we're moving on to the final two heroes of the patch. We have Jetpack Cat. Now, if I had to rank all 5 of them, this is your rank 1 hero of the patch. And I don't mean that in like the whole memery and crazy pickup plays. I mean, this hero is a solo queue menace if you play this hero correctly. And number 2, this has probably the highest competitive potential. They may not nerf it if they only look at stats, strictly because people are trolling with this hero and having so much fun that it's pulling the win rate down. I actually think it's weaker to just carry a teammate and let them shoot like a soldier or something. If they don't have their ultimate, people are just like picking up their cast, their bastion, and just doing crazy things like this. I actually don't even think that's that powerful. It's good if they have a high noon, soldier visor, or they're comboing specifically with the diva bomb and stuff like that. But I actually think you're trolling if the Jetpack Cat is just flying, because when you're flying, you're not doing anything besides moving your person, and at that you're banking your other teammate to do something. And sometimes if they're trying to aim while they're flying in the sky, like you can't fully trust them. I think that's like not the strong part of the kit. The strong part of the kit is 1v1ing random people, having complete aerial control. Like imagine how annoying Tracer is, but like Jetpack Cat is the support version of it, because you can come from any angle. Oh, you're getting chased by somebody, I can literally just like hover here and not die. And then if you look at these perks, Claws Out, like if you're playing the teammate version for like an ult play specifically, it's decent. I think Claws Out is the better solo queue option. And when I talked to Alec Dawson, the game the associate hero lead director, I forgot what his new title is at Blizzard, he said this is really strong in internal testing. Claws Out and not headbutt. Territorial. The headbutt I don't like, because like sometimes it feels like I want to headbutt them and I don't have enough speed, and then I just end up clonking into them without the headbutt, and then I'm just in a bad spot and I die. Territorial is like guaranteed 1v1 kill plus the claws. Her damages enemies for 50% of the healing amount. What is the healing amount? The healing amount is 30 per pulse, which means it's 15 per pulse on the healing, which pulses 4 times. It's 60 damage, but you're self-healing at the same time. Wait, that's more than 60. Wait, it pulses twice. Oh, it's 30 damage, base damage, plus 15 base, because it's half the healing. So it's 45 per pulse. And then you scratch them, and then you shoot them. They are 100% dead, and it's 4 pulses. So they were saying internally that this perk was incredibly strong. And because you have complete mobility on the map with crazy speed, like you just dive in and then press your E, like they are dead. And I think if you play it like that in solo queue, that is why this hero is insane. Not to even mention the crazy combos on the teammate helping side. Like this is your S tier hero, which is only held back by the win rate statistically thanks to people trolling and messing around. But in a vacuum, this is your best hero. I can't even emphasize it enough. This hero is absolutely cracked out the wazoo with what they can do. This and this hero. And actually yesterday when I was playing, this hero was banned every time. Oh, I didn't even talk about Catnapper. Literally every time this ability is up, you basically guarantee a free kill on a tank. In a 5v5 environment, removing their tank instantly is like unbelievable. I mean, some heroes can obviously fly back, but like what a lot of people do right now against tanks is not even just like carry them over the map and then press the ult to drop them off. You can just pick up the person, and instead of dropping them off, you just dip low enough till they're off the map, and then you fly back to make sure that they can't jump back up. Like if they're a Doomfist or Winston, like Doom, if you drop off the Doom, he can just press Meteor Strike, he's back. You just dip down till they hit the death zone and then come back up. Dipping them in death zone may not give you the kill credit, but like at that point, who cares? When you're in your ultimate, you're not gaining ult charge on the dip anyways, right? For the most part. So anyways, this is your best hero. This hero needs nerfs. You can just change it so the tether on the thing has a timer for a teammate if that's the most annoying part. But genuinely speaking, like I said, I don't think that's the strongest part with the tether timing. I actually think you can just nerf territorial and some of the 1v1 potential and we're good. This hero's 225 HP, that's fine, but like, yeah, way too strong. Way too strong. And you overlap on the ult charge, that's right. And then finally, we have Mizuki. I think he's the weakest hero of the 5 released. I also think his skin is terrible. Like, sorry, his one legendary skin right now. Let me just talk about this. Default color, sick. I have the galactic weapon. Everyone, this streetwear, I wasted 1,300 credits on this. This is the most aura losing skin of all time. I'm sorry. His hat looks like somebody took a bite out of his chip, number 1. And like he needs his mask back on. I'm sorry. He's better with the mask. And he kind of looks like Zarya at a first glance. I know. He's a Japanese hero. I know. But like he's got the pink hair and his hairstyle's a little different. Anyways, my takeaway point, don't waste your money on the streetwear skin. I'm sure he'll get more cracked cool skins later. Aura-less skin. He's the member of the Saja boys who got kicked out. I'm sorry. Anyways, now for his actual stats and how he plays, I think he's the weakest of the bunch. I think he has some potential in the right comps, but like I found myself in my games that like this ability needs more range. So as it stands, it's his weapon has a 30-meter range. I think this could go up. So this target's 40 meters away. I can't even hit them here. Okay, now I can. I felt like I was missing a lot. They can either A, increase the range on it, or B, make the projectile fire just a little bit faster. That's my first one. Like this is the one that scales your aura on your screen the strongest or the most. But it sucks because it's so hard to hit. And if they play like a shield comp, like a Sigma, it is so hard to build aura from this primary fire. So I found this one a little bit awkward. That's the first thing, is primary fire. I think the binding chain is okay if you imagine it like a Roadhog hook. It's a 20-meter range. So if you intuitively play Roadhog, I think this is fine.
Caught by the spirits.
This is really strong if you play into like the Ball or Doomfist matchup, and that's like the best case scenario for this guy right now. He's the anti-Ball and anti-Doomfist hero if you just tether them every time they show up. The Katashio return, I felt like the 5-second timer isn't quite enough. If I want to like get in there, shoot them a bit and teleport back, I just felt like you need a little bit more time with the doll down, so you can make use of this maybe instead of 5 seconds, maybe buff it to 6 to 8 seconds. And I still think it would be pretty cool because it's not like I'm going invisible like a translocator. Enemies can also just like camp this spot and then like I'm kind of in trouble as well. So like, I don't know. This ability is kind of whatever to me. I think they could buff that part, the primary fire the most. Tether is okay. And honestly, the healing is okay. Some people didn't like the healing, but I think this thing is pretty solid. Nice and reliable. One thing you should probably do is rebind this to your E button or whatever it is on console. Same button as Briggs' heal pack or like Moira's orb or any kind of thrown projectile. I think that feels a lot more intuitive. Hook ends up being like on the right click, but all in all, it just feels like all his parts of his kit don't flow too well for me. Like he's okay, but you know, just not my favorite. And then let's talk about his aura range. That's like another bulk of his healing. You need to be extremely close to your teammates to do this, but at the same time you want to like get in there and do some fun stuff like this. I actually think he doesn't do too well in poke. I think he should be played in like brawl where your teammates are more clumped up. Then this aura gets more innate value. If you do that, then he's serviceable, but if you try to play him with dive, everybody's too spread out to make use of the aura. So like, not a fan of that specifically. He doesn't really have crazy peel tools like Brig. Like you have the root, but that's about it. Like imagine trying to hit this one ability on like Tracer flanking your Ana. A little bit difficult. And then good luck hitting this on a Tracer or hitting the hook or the tether. Then after that, like you're kind of a sitting duck. So he feels a little bit weaker of the bunch. And then his ultimate is okay, but it's like a really small area and the heal is not OP at all. It's mostly for the value of blocking all incoming projectiles, and it also blocks from the top too. So one use case I found is when an Emre is in the sky and he's popping his ult. This thing is a full cylindrical coverage here. It's outside and the top. So you can just eat everything just for that brief moment. I actually think this could get buffed even more. Not so much the healing, but the duration could even go up to 8 seconds, but they don't want to pull Marvel Rivals and make things last a little too long. So if we're going to keep it, it's not bad. The thing is, like, if you buff other aspects of his kit, like when I was saying earlier, if you buff the range and like a little bit of the Katashio return, it all indirectly helps him build his ultimate a lot faster anyway. So maybe you don't have to touch this as well. And like buffing 2 aspects of the kit will innately make this better overall. All in all, he just needs some minor tweaks. I think he's like pretty close to being like a really solid hero, but you know, he's fun for some people, but I found over time, I just couldn't be as impactful. And like I said, the ultimate is like a reactionary tool in a lot of cases. When you compare it to other abilities like Kitsune Rush or like Nano Boost or like BAP Window, especially in the solo queue environment, those are like the go, go, go buttons or like an initiation tool. Being proactive is what wins you more games in ranked than like being reactive. So even like a Lucio beat, you can beat offensively and use the shield. You can use your Zenyatta Trank and tell your team to go in to like quickly top them off. Unfortunately, this is in a spot where if I'm trying to be proactive with it and I want to chase them, I don't want to leave the circle, but it's a very defensive ult. And I'm not saying that's a bad thing. I'm just saying in the case of solo queue, he's harder to carry. He's not a hard carry support. He's a supplementary flex support. He's not going to give you your main bulk of healing. I look at it kind of like a Brig. You're not playing Brig as a main healer. He's kind of just like an extra person to kind of just like supplement your team, if that makes. I'm just repeating myself. You kind of know what I'm trying to get at. But that's my takeaway on this guy. Cool looking with the mask and stuff on, but he's the weakest of the 5. And then I guess that's my biggest takeaway here for all the 5 heroes. Again, number 1, Jetpack Cat. Number 2, Domina. Number 3, Emre. Number 4, Anran. Number 5, Mizuki. For his perks, I used to take the Remedy Aura resource generation. I would take this if it's really hard to build the Aura, if I'm playing against a shield tank and I really can't hit the backline. But overall, Exposed Soul, I would take anytime I'm playing against flankers that need to be chained and get killed really fast. Genji's, Balls, Dooms, Winston's, those are all great to take this one on. And then for his major perk, I think my camera's blocking it. I would take the extra healing bounce if your other support isn't really like a big bulky main healer. What's it called? But I think Quick Step is kind of nice if you're engaging with the Brawl. Remember I said I don't really like it with Die, but it's really good with Brawl and engaging, I guess. But yeah. Okay, and I think that's my yap session. Thank you for listening. Let me know what you guys think about the heroes and leave stuff in the comments about any myths and stuff you want to test too. That's my takeaway point. Goodbye.